evening, everyone. Welcome to the series on the age of Droid, which is jointly being organized by JSS Science and Technology Enterprise Park and the Starting UP, mission of the government of UP. Basically, to encourage more product-based startups in the state of UP. And as you're aware, there's a late focus on adopting innovative technologies and making India Atmanirbhar Bharat. So, and we cannot absolutely do it without our startups, our amazing startups, I must say. And what we'll do today is we'll explore an exciting lineup of industry experts who share their expertise and best practices through the interactive sessions with this group. We are also live on Facebook, so anytime you want to go back and refer to what we've talked, please feel free to do that. So, the concept of robots and automation might have been considered nice. I mean, really having a robot walk through, your workspace and helping you with basic chores would have been really nice. But then, the global pandemic has accelerated the importance of speed while maintaining our standards of safety. So a wide range of applications, right, from implementing the artificial intelligence and machine learning, and to bringing more sensor-based and drivers, has actually led to the utilization of robots across sectors. So I take this opportunity to welcome our speaker today, Mr. Sumant Parimal. Mr. Parimal, you may kindly unmute and turn on the video, and it will be great to listen about your thoughts on how you see or perceive this sector to be growing. So over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Divya, and thank you, JSS STEP team member, for inviting me for this unique talk. And I'm glad that JSS STEP is doing a lot of communication exercise to make the startup community aware about these emerging technology like AI, robotics, and other technologies. So I take this opportunity to highlight a couple of key strategic points, and as an analyst, and also I like to bring some of the initiatives to your notice, which we are taking in this NCR area. And particularly this workshop is webinar is getting organized with UP startup. So we'd like to focus on some of the initiative we are doing in UP. And, if you see the entire pandemic, as per our own analyst estimate, we believe that whatever loss, the economic loss happened, during this pandemic, though we believe that due to digitization, whatever digitization we had prior to March 2020, we could able to save a lot of our economic activity, particularly in IT and ITS enabled or digitally enabled services. We could able to perform a lot of works and activity through remote locations. But we still believe that whatever losses happened in GDP in economic events, 70% of those losses could have been curtailed by deploying higher robot automation. When I say robot automation, what it means combination of digital plus robotics and automation. So digital and all those things we are kind of thing, but wherever the human activities are involved, whether human working involved, we need to deploy the robot automation, or you can say intelligent automation, where instead of human going to a place, it's a similar kind of robot would be deployed for carrying on those works. So robots are not susceptible to these all. Of course, they are susceptible to other kind of virus attacks, but it's of course not of present COVID and all those things. So I think there is a great potential where we need to rapidly deploy the robots in our work area, even in household. So it's not about only safeguarding our continuity of work and continuity of business, but it is also safeguarding our earning. And apart from what earning we are right now seeing, we can also multiply our earning by using the robot automation. So as per another analyst estimates of 5 level research, there is a potential to grow our per household income by another 60% when we at least deploy a robot system in every household, either for doing our own internal work, or for doing or assisting or augmenting ourselves in our businesses, in our commercial activity, or even in our official works. So the advantages of automation is twofold. First thing, kind of saving you from uncertainty, whether even if you are not physically present, your robot replica, or I can say robotic avatar, are able to perform your work. And second thing is that they will improve your productivity and efficiency, and they can be deployed in at multiple instances for multiplying your income. So in another prediction recently we did at the start of this year, we said robo engineers going to emerge. So what I mean by robo engineers, so right now we work as an independent consultant, or we work as an employee, right? Now, even we work as an entrepreneur, then also, we are kind of personally working, our physical persona is being trained with some kind of skill sets or some kind of work experience to perform certain very specialized jobs. Now in robopreneurs mode, what will happen, I'll take out my I will take out my skill sets and virtualize it. Virtualize is whatever I know, I kind of digitize it or virtualize it, or through certain digital technology, and then I can map it into some robotics avatar, and I can deploy it in various entrepreneurship models. So I can deploy. So earlier I used to work for one client, or for one customer, or for one employer through my robotics avatar, as a consultant, or say as a very special professional. I can work at multiple location in one go, in concurrently. So these all robopreneurs, and or even the skill set virtualization through robotics avatar is going to multiply the income potential of a human being. So it's not only improve the efficiency, it will not improve the productivity, it will not only ensure the continuity in the work, but it will also rapidly multiply the income potential of a human being. So going forward, what I see, if you remember recently, the Tesla founder, he said that going forward, physical work is going to be an option for human being. So I think world is moving in that direction. You as being a human, worker, or being a human professional, going to be a choice. You need to own robots now, or need to own some kind of virtual avatars, and then you train them with your skills, your skill sets, your knowledge, or whatever algorithm you can gather around certain business secrets, or certain business or certain intellectual property, and actually map those skill sets and the IP in the robotics avatar, and then deploy there at your various location, and then you become a businessman, or you become an employee with multiple such robotics implementation coming from your side. So definitely the physical work is going to be a option for human in say maybe next decade or this decade itself, and then your main work will be to manage the robotics assets you have, or manage the AI assets you are building, or manage the digital assets you are building, and deploying them with the very growth oriented business models, where you earn say x into 5 or x into 10, whatever. If your revenue today is x, then you can target x into 10 revenue by deploying various robotics avatar and various models being developed by you. So this is the future which I wanted to share with the startups here. If your startups are working for accelerating the AI and robotics adoption, you have to think in this mind that how you not only enable the industry, but also enable the entrepreneurs, enable the professionals, enable the employee to kind of virtualize whatever knowledge they have and deploy in some kind of robotics products and services at the various at the various locations. This could be now metaverse is also emerging. So these deployment you have to keep in mind. It could either happen in the real world, the physical world today we are operating, or it could happen in metaverse world, that is virtual world. So whatever products and services you are designing across robotics and AI, now the applications of those products and services are going to be also emerge in the metaverse world. So metaverse is going to open another stream of opportunity for robotics and AI startups, or even any AR VR startups also. So I think with these kind of introductory talk, I like to quickly highlight you what we have believed in the robotics opportunity, and what we kind of announced to launch in Greater Noida. So we announced to launch a robotics technology park at Greater Noida, and for this we entered into MOU with UP government also. And now in this robotics technology park, we intend to develop around 14 robotics verticals, where we intend to develop very specialized projects across these 14 robotics verticals in collaboration with the various technology companies. So some of the products, I think I'll walk you through some of the products which we envision to develop. So is any feature here to share my screen?
Right, yes. So you have at the bottom a share
Oh,
screen
okay,
feature.
yeah.
And
Yes,
it
sure.
will be great, so I must add in the meantime, while you're
Yeah.
pulling up your screen, Mr. Parimal has a great, plan to set up a 100-acre robotics park in the state of UP. And I must say, I mean, we are definitely impressed. So over to you, back to you.
Yeah, so if you see some of the products lines, I think now my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
So these are some of the products lines which we intend to set up in this part. And this is not we are alone going to set up. Like we like to partner with some of the robotics companies. Many of you might be a startup, or many of you might be in the mid segment, or the last segment area. So if you see these are the product profile of some of the robotics vendors. So these kind of products you can also conceive, while you're designing your product portfolio. So like if you see, these are robots and goes into medical surgical lines. There is a great potentials of these going forward. The medicine, like in one of our analyst prediction, we said India need to deploy 5 million medical robots. So medical robots going forward, all the surgery being done by the robots. Even if you see some of the, when I cross in Delhi and in Noida area, some of the hospitals I see now, they are doing their brand positioning of robot-based surgery. So robots have emerged one of the key brand positioning or USP for many of the hospitals. So you can see the surgical robots are, or medical robots are one of the growth area which are coming. So going, because manually, as per one prediction, the doctors, when they see a lot of stuffs manually, they visualize manually. Either they are scanning the MRI report or X-ray report. They also intend to introduce a lot of error in their decision making or their analysis. So going forward, everything will be automated. Even doctors may not be required to manually analyze the MRI reports or X-ray report. They have to take the help of the AI systems or robotic system to even analyze the reports which are coming from the say diagnostic systems like MRI machines or the X-ray machines or CT scan or so a lot of robotics application and AI applications are required in medical field. If you see some of the products developed by J&J in robotics. So these all products we target to make in our robotics plant. Similarly, the drones market is also booming up. So drones, I think there is a dedicated speaker here in this session on drones. So I won't be talking on drones market too much, but the drones are now going to be lifeline of human activities, be it the emergencies or be it the some kind of a remote area. If you have to go, so drones are going to rescue, and rescue and operations also, the drones are going to deploy. So now, the whole warfare you are going to be today, you are seeing is going to be automated with robots and artificial intelligence. There won't be any man-to-man war. So I think in NCR and in UP, defense corridor is coming. The defense production corridor is coming. So if any of your startups is thinking to produce robotic solution for defense, Indian defense, then I think you should explore the defense corridor, which is starting from nearby area, like from Aligarh area, it is starting and is going to up to Kanpur and Lucknow. So in defense corridor, you can set up some of the robotics units or robots which will go to the Indian defense forces. So going forward, all patrolling, inspection, surveillance, even the infantry operation, this is going to be done through robots. You won't find human soldiers standing in front of and facing the enemy bullets. As per my vision, the first bullet should be faced by robots, right? So that our soldier life, precious life of soldier gets saved over there, right? And then lot of opportunity for agriculture robots. If you see right from the fruit processing, food processing to kind of picking up the fruits from the field and the plants, the robots will find everywhere the application. In the country like Canada, where the human resources are scarce, robots are already getting deployed for plantation and cultivation and agriculture uses. So I think the government of India initiative in recent budget to announce the agriculture drone services, drone as a services is a boost for many startups. They can conceptualize the drone-based services for putting into agriculture. So agriculture is becoming next opportunity hotspot as well as the drones and robotics are concerned. Then food processing industry, this is going to be robotized. This is going to be automated. You won't find any waiter in hotels or restaurants going forward. Already in Japan, you will see the restaurants are using robots, for making of the food and serving the food also, right? So emergency response, a lot of applications of robotics are going to happen in emergency response, and including drones and retail and logistic. We have seen how Amazon has automated its large warehouses. Now nobody will find that manual movement happening in their warehouses. So a lot of vertical and horizontal movement robots are installed in their warehouses. That's kind of accelerated the speed of delivery. Now, security and surveillance is another robotics area which I would like to highlight to you. This is the major opportunity, and at a strategic location, the police robots shall be doing the patrolling and sending across the strategic intelligence report to the city control room. So with the smart city coming into picture, 100 smart city coming into picture in India, I think the security and surveillance robots have the great role to play. So these are some of the robotics portfolios available in security and surveillance. So personal and domestic robots. So now going forward, a lot of people will become, or people, and even in India, the aging problem is going to happen, like what we see today in Japan and many European countries. So then the people in every household, they need a lot of robotic assistance for doing their housework. So in India, it's very easy to call maids and they can assist you. But in many of the countries like Japan, the robotics assistant is coming up in a big way. Be it the patient handling or be it the house cleaning or housekeeping, or even doing some kind of cooking in house kitchens, the robots are getting deployed. So this is another emerging area the startups should focus, because these are the low hanging fruits. You can easily crack the market of the domestic robots or personal robots, right? Then hospitality and commercial robots. So these are another great opportunity area. I like to say these robots are deployed in your gardens and for cleaning purpose. And then these are robots which serve you with certain things if you demand, you know. So these is the emerging product portfolio here, you know. So autonomous vehicle, I think many of your startups must be working in this area. This is the big revolution, and it's already happening in Silicon Valley. And I think India is lagging this. So our vision is to, in part, bring the ecosystem of autonomous vehicle. So there are many component manufacturers in autonomous vehicle area, which you can target as a startup, and you can tie up with the OEMs, automobile OEMs, to integrate in the autonomous vehicle. Construction and mining robots. So these are another big space for this. I mean, these right now in India, you see all manual construction is going to be replaced by the mechanized construction or robotics construction. Education and entertainment robots. So these are also coming in big way. And then we already see the software robots, the robotics process automation, the virtual personal assistant, intelligent automation, deep learnings and boards. So these all we are working on this, and we are already interacting daily with this. So I think with this, I've given up glimpses of what all the robotics products which we can target, being a startup or being even a mid-segment tech firm, you know. So I think if you ask me the market size, I'll just quickly conclude with the market size. So the global robotics market is going to be 50 billion, and which is expected to be 188 billion by 2024. And artificial intelligence, if you see, it's 156 over 156 billion market, and which is expected to touch 300 billion market. So if to totally combine AI and robotics, it is going to be 500 billion market globally, you know, in few years. So it's a big market, and when you see the value it's add to the economy, it goes to the 1 trillion and above, right? So with these glimpses, I think I conclude my talk here. You know, if you have any question, you can certainly ask me.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Parimal. That was so interesting. And, you know, in fact, we have one of the startups here. I can see Sadhna Jha. So Sadhna, you know, she works with young kids, and she set up her center to, you know, train these young kids on robotics.
Oh,
So Sadhna, especially for you, in case you feel you have any questions. Other questions, yes, we'll definitely take after the second speaker has also spoken. But Sadhna, welcome to the program. And in case you have any questions, feel free to ask Mr. Parimal.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sadhna ji.
So just recently, I have started my startup named Ankuram Robo Private Limited. And we are basically providing training to 6 to 16-year students in the field of robotics. Actually, your session is too good, and I am very inspired of the things that you. I want to know that how we can train for gesture control robotics, so that they are able to create their own own controlled robots for their use.
Yeah, so definitely it's your initiative is really very good. This is the age when kids should be exposed to robotics education. One of my contact in New York, so I think he's in Stony Brook University, some universities there in New York. I'll send you the name. So he actually run a special summer camp for the kids of this age, right? So I think he invites the application. He is professor of robotics engineering in Stony University in New York, right? What I'll do, I will circulate their summer camp intimation in this group, so that you can motivate the kid to apply for them for their courses also. So there are universities overseas which are holding a specific summer camp for the STEM students and including the high school students. And I think this is the correct age where the kids need to motivated to learn the robotics and artificial intelligence skill set. I'm personally mentoring a Silicon Valley based student. Of course, he's from India only. I mean, his parents are from India. So in 14 years timeline, he talks a lot about robotics and AI, and he participates in many Harvard and the Cambridge debates and training programs. So I think there's nothing formal education which becomes barrier here. There is nothing required that you need to be a engineering graduate or you need to be an MTech or with some kind of a special skill to learn the robotics. And I mean the robotics and AI is actually breaking the age barrier. The kids are starting very early. I think now the revolution which we are seeing in the Silicon Valley, we need to start in India also, and it's coming through people like you and startups like you. So it definitely you can encourage them to learn many new products, to developing many new products, many new solutions, many new robots for their own home uses, for their work uses, their parents for helping in their parents' work, or for solving some society problem, or even for doing some projects which may be of useful for some of the companies. So some of the companies are also inviting the young talents to co-innovate. So I think what you need to do, you need to kind of align your startup with some of these big university, which I mentioned in my opening remark, and some of the organizations which actually brings the kids into their mainstream research and development work. So I think then your startup will have a whole big ecosystem driving your business. So I think you should not do it alone. Rather, you should integrate it with this university and the companies and all those things. The entire ecosystem you need to integrate. Then I think you'll able to achieve higher results of whatever you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Very well said, Mr. Parimal. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. And thank you, Sadhna, for doing what you're doing. As I said, we are, while we may say that it's too early to expose kids to technology, but at the same time, the earlier we expose them to technology is the time when their creativity is, highest, best, I would say. So, they don't fear technology then. I mean, they're okay to go up and, create new products. So great for what you're doing. So we'll come back for questions, but before that, we have another speaker today, Mohammed Anas. He is the founder for Innod, and I invite him to talk about his experience of working and developing drone technology. Over to you, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for inviting. Good evening, everyone. I hope I am audible to all.
Yeah, hi Anas. So basically, your voice is there,
myself,
but...
Mohammed, I'm the founder and CEO of Innod. I'll be quickly giving you the idea of drone. Hopping into it, sir have given a very good idea about the entire robotics.
Right, looks like some technical glitch with Anas. So in the meantime, I guess, Mr. Parimal, we can make it open for Q&A if that's okay with you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So Anas had to travel at the last minute, and Anas will do the Q&A. And meantime, it will be great if you could fix the internet at your end. right? So there is a voice lag. We cannot hear you well.
So maybe Anas, you can just turn off the video and maybe we can go ahead with your voice only. So in the meantime, maybe we can go ahead with the Q&A.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Any question you have, or any of the audience have?
Right. So
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. Oh,
Mr. Harsh Srivastav, so this
okay.
webinar is going live on Facebook. We'll be happy to share that link with you
Perfect.
here itself. Yeah. So you can, just take it down from Facebook. Right. So any questions, because as I said, I definitely have a question from Mr. Parimal, which is, how do you actually see the state of UP, contributing to the robotics revolution? And, why did you choose the state of UP? I must ask this because, most of the, although, yes, we are the largest growing startup ecosystem now, but then at the same time, mostly the technology advancement happens in other states. So what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, definitely the UP is changing, and particularly the NCR area is, of course, driven by the Delhi growth, So where we are right now in Noida and NCR, this has more to do more influenced by the Delhi growth. So Delhi, Noida, Gurugram. This is a kind of big ecosystem in India now. So. But this defense corridor, which have been planned, by the present government, this is actually taking or pushing the industrial infrastructure, particularly focusing towards the defense till Aligarh, beyond Aligarh till Kanpur. I said this defense corridor will go up to Lucknow. So now in recent budget, if you have seen that 70% of the procurement is going to happen, defense procurement is going to happen through the Make in India this thing, and then 25% procurement is to be especially targeted towards startups. So I think this will open the big window for startups and the India-based manufacturing companies to host in India, and this defense corridor is why it is attracting, or why it is attractive, because a lot of incentives are involved here, So I think the incentives and the reliability of space and ecosystem is going to drive some of the high-tech industry in this part of UP, at least. Not whole UP, at least in this part of UP where we are right now hosted. So I think this part of UP is going to definitely see, and this airport is coming, the airport, Greater Noida airport, I'm talking about Jewar airport, we call. These are being inaugurated recently. So this is going to make a logistic hub, and where a lot of the high-tech manufacturing are expected to happen, apart from other manufacturing like automobile component manufacturing, electronics manufacturing. So definitely it is going to happen in a couple of years, but definitely the speed is not like what we generally see in Japan or China. So our bureaucracy is changing, but still I don't think that it has the same speed matching with the China and Japan. So if you have to really to do it, then the speed, and then there are a lot of paperwork, like as I said, I visited one of the local government office. So they are not even ready to believe in how a startup company will do this kind of big work. So I still believe that this kind of big work to be only done by Google or Amazon kind of work. So if they are coming to their office, then they will do everything instantaneously. But if a new startup is going with a big plan, so they will doubt they are coming with some scam or something like that. So these mindset has to change. Every person and every citizen of India to be to be motivated for dreaming big. Then only this country will cross 10 billion GDP. I mean, 10 trillion GDP. If we think that everybody is small, only 2 and 3 big companies have a job to do business, then we are not going to touch even 5 trillion plus economy. So I think this mindset has to change, not only in government, but everywhere. Every entrepreneur, those starting today or tomorrow, they come with the big plans. They should be motivated. They should be helped. Whoever, government, private, everywhere, they should be helped in realizing their dream. They should not be suspected that he will kind of grab the land or then run away, or grab the money of investor and run away. So these kind of culture, of course, some people have done this. That's what these fear has comes. But I think we have to come out from this fear. Not 100. If 100 people are coming with the new venture, not all these 100 people will turn a scammer, right? So most of them are going to very, very honest and are going to make the money to their transparent and ethical business system. So I think this mindset has to change.
Right, right. So true, so true. Well said. Thank you so much for sharing that thought. So, I must add here. So there is a comment by Harsh Srivastav where he says that, there are issues that automated machines are taking away people's jobs. So Harsh, there is a very important concept, or very interesting concept, and something which COVID has actually accelerated is the concept of Industry 5.0. So now with Industry 5.0, there is a discussion on how the man and the machine has to coexist. So man basically doing what the humans can do, and machines basically supporting man. So now the focus on automation is not as I would say aggressive as we saw it in the last decade. There is, and I'm sure Mr. Parimal will agree with me that all the technologies and all the applications which he's shown are the ones which are being which are going to actually improve the efficiency of say, like he talked about robotics in healthcare. So there's a growing need to improve efficiency. There's a growing need to accelerate growth, but not by replacing humans now. So that's something I just wanted to add. Mr. Parimal, there is another question for you. Do you have hints on how virtual or augmented reality will play a role in this scenario?
So
And
that's
mixed
what,
reality. Yes.
that's what I mentioned in my opening remark, right?
Right.
That the AR, VR technology is impacting the overall metaverse world. Now, since the Facebook started their plan to invest $10 billion in metaverse, and in fact, they changed their name also Meta,
Sure.
So though they lost their share value, if you see Mark Zuckerberg, now he's no longer a topmost billionaire, right? His ranking got dropped. So he took a big step in changing the Facebook from traditional just a collaborative platform to entire metaverse platform. So I think AR VR is going to get the big boost due to emergence of metaverse, and as I said, AI and robotics has to also have a lot of role in kind of progressing with the metaverse ecosystem, because metaverse is totally virtual. As I said in my opening remarks, the next potential in metaverse is going to be across the virtualization of human skill set. Whatever, as a consultant analyst, whatever skill set I have today in my physical persona, how through some digital solution or AI solution, I can extract these skill sets and deploy it in my robotics avatar, or virtual avatar, and then deploy it in 100 locations, or say maybe 1,000 locations. Because once you have decoupled it from your physical persona, then it can be deployed in any places, at n number of times, and concurrently. So these are the new opportunities which are going to come in metaverse. And in one of the recent webinar on budget discussion happened in Excelrai Jamshedpur, where I was also invited as a panelist, I did mention to some of the in front of some of the big shots, economic big shot, that you never know, one day this metaverse economy of India is going to be bigger than this real GDP, you know. So I think metaverse is going to be based on AR, VR, and AI technology. So I see more and more metaverse will grow. The more and more potential for AI and VR and AR going to happen, you know. So I think that is the founding block. So I think there is a big opportunity for the solution. Now for the startups, you need to also not only limited to the AR and VR solution, you need to conceptualize some products in AR, VR. So like if you see the metaverse platform, you know, there are now recent metaverse launch for the real estate, but the virtual real estate. So if you have AR and VR know-how, if you know the technology of AR, VR, can you come up with similar platform? Can you launch globally? Then your startup will have a platform kind of roadmap, you know, instead of services or instead of some kind of portion of technology which you are owning, you own a platform, then you brand the platform, then your platform will become. So there are virtual real estate or platforms in metaverse. So can you think about that? You know, instead of just doing some development in AR, VR, can you conceptualize a package and a platform or brand which or a big project in metaverse and launch in market and see the response? I mean, in last one, if you see Analyst report, the land space, the virtual land prices have grown up 100 times. You know, people are rushing to buy the virtual lands in some of the popular metaverse platform. So as a developer, can you think or can you visualize developing another platform of metaverse on metaverse? So that will multiply your market potential, you know.
Very well said. Very well said. So there is another question. Utkarsh wanted to ask you something about drones as well. Yeah. So Utkarsh, don't stop by. Please go ahead. You can ask him the right question.
Right. So sir, like, you know, if you talk about drones, like as you have already taken up the robotics part, you know, very well explained, and you know, to my surprise, I never expected, like, you know, robotics could have that larger kind of an application, so many, you know, domains and so many possibilities around. And you know, if I think from a startup's perspective as well, right? So I think your session has given me some insights that, you know, if I have to you know, get into this kind of a domain, then what all possibilities do I have? So if I talk about, you know, if we augment the similar situations for the drones as well, so what according to you think is the market is like, you know, because drone is quite a buzzword, everyone wants to build drones.
But we hardly have drones, you know, being manufactured in India. So what are your thoughts about this?
So recently they have banned the import of drones in many sectors, assuming that this will give impetus to the local industry. But I don't think that banning and all those things is a good strategy, though government might have some perspective on that. But as an industry analyst, I think I believe in fair competition, because that's how the innovation grows. You know, we need to be innovative to compete with, you know, the foreign companies, you know. So I think the drone, when we call drone, the drone applications are multifold. So today you are seeing that all human-based deliveries happening. If you order on Zomato or if you order on any food application, be it Swiggy. So these delivery are going to be automated through drones very sooner. So you have the doorstep delivery on drones, and many companies are going to rush. And similarly, the government of India has they reformed their drone policies. Now earlier the drones were restricted and you need to take a lot of permissions or licenses before you actually start installing the drones. So the license regime being also simplified. And in the last budget, they kind of, I mentioned, they have mentioned the Kisan drones, drone as a service, right? So Kisan drones right now, they are just focusing on some kind of physical works to be taken out from drones, like the spraying of the pesticides, or you kind of mapping, the land mapping. But I think the applications of drones are going to be much larger than that. If you see the agriculture supply chain, a lot of input material a farmer need to borrow, and then a lot of the farm produce need to be shipped to the market, or mandis. So I think robot and drone, you can say, see, drone is a type of robot, I'll say. If you see the bigger perspective of the robotics market, drone is one product portfolio of robots. So now the robots need to be deployed for in managing the entire supply chain of the agriculture or farmers, including taking out the farm produce to the local mandis, or the local markets, and including bringing the seeds and pesticide to the site or to the land where these crops gets cultivated. So I think a lot of automation can be planned and targeted by using drones and robotics in agriculture sector. So what the government of India has mentioned in this budget is just scratching the surface of the opportunity. I'll say just they have scratched 2% or 3% of the opportunity which drones brings. So drones can enable farmers, the drones can enable the citizens, and drones can enable the entire medical facilities and other sectors like logistics and supply chain and industry as well. So I think there's a huge potentials in drone sector, but there are challenges. Why it is there is a legislative and policy challenges and regulation challenges, and there are challenges in terms of battery. These are some of the challenges. The battery technology is one of the biggest challenge, right? So I think the power consumption and all those things need to be, that area need to be also innovated. So we need startups to innovate the entire battery life cycle of the drones. Just not about making the drones, but how to manage the battery, or even if the swapping of batteries are required, and how to come up with some technological solution to kind of swap the batteries of the drones, because that is one of the big challenge, because they are not automatically powered. They need to be powered through battery, and it hardly gives 20-minute run time, in one charge. So 20 minutes is not a good or not a great time zone which a drone have. At least we should target about 4-5 hours of running time in one charge. So we need to innovate a lot on those things, and then we need to innovate on sizes and all those things. So form factor, sizes. So there are many innovation areas which we can explore in drones.
Right. So, that also sets me thinking, Mr. Parimal, there are two ways of adopting technologies. One is, we create our homegrown technologies. And the other is we import technologies and adapt it to, Indian ecosystem. So where do you see, us? So there are obviously, some long-term goals which we as India want to be Atmanirbhar, but then at the same time, it also requires us to research on new technologies, whether it be related to the battery technology or drones or robots. But at the same time, there are friendly countries where we can, import technologies and, commercialize it, adapt it to Indian needs. So where do you see those partnerships happening? So what do you see as happening, say, maybe immediately in next 3 years? And what do you think will be, a long-term goal for us as a nation? How do you see that happening?
So partnership, of course, is required right now. For this robotics technology park project itself, I approached a couple of drone manufacturers in US and Europe to partner and to manufacture locally. So those discussions are already going on. But whatever drones now we have available, so though I'm not. I think we had another speaker on drone, but I just whatever kind of I know, I am just sharing from that, though I did not come with any particular facts and data. But I think there are partnership happening. So as you said that what the India has potential to actually innovate in the drone technology, so a lot of AI need to be built up in the drones, like the drones are if you in one of my slides you have seen the fruits getting picked up by some robotics arms. So now in these robotics arms are getting deployed on drones in Europe and in the Canada, where you won't find the manual farmers available there. So these drones are flying, and they are through their AI technology, they are detecting which are the good fruit to be plugged, right? So they are actually using that robotics arm to actually pick up those ready fruits. They are not picking up the fruits which are not ready. So these kind of artificial intelligence need to be built up. So as a startup, you can think of whether you want to build the entire drone product, or you need to collaborate with some drone OEM to supply some artificial intelligence algorithm or program, or say the camera technology, or even the battery technology, I said, so there are a lot of segments on which you can focus. Either you can become the whole drone manufacturer and you tie up with some of the component manufacturer or some of the technology provider, or you become a technology provider or some component manufacturer and then tie up with the big drone players. So it is going to be a multi-partner opportunity, a multi-dimensional partnering opportunity available with the startups today. But we have to examine, with the ban on import of drones, we have to examine that latest policy, whether they have banned the whole drone, or they banned even the components. That I'm not very clear. We have to examine that, because if they ban the component, then that kind of probability of partnership also gets ended, from the external partner.
Exactly. Yeah. So true. So true. No, I completely agree to what you said. And Muhammad Anas had to drop out. He was traveling. So, yes. While we talk about the high-end technologies and how, India can become Atmanirbhar Bharat, I think one critical area which still needs address is, the internet bandwidth. So, especially, when we are traveling, we're on highway, or even, in hill stations or Northeast India. So, internet continues to remain a perpetual problem. So, he's traveling. He just reached out to Utkarsh. So our apologies for that, audience, but we'll make sure, he maybe shares a video or, his piece of words for all of you, and we'll share it with you all. Yes. Any other questions from Mr. Parimal? Because I'm absolutely motivated. And, I must add that from the state of UP, we've received an approval to set up a prototyping lab to work on robotics and drones. So let's see, what kind of startups do we get, and, where are the researchers who actually want to come forward and, work on original technologies. And we have mentors like Mr. Sumant Parimal, who can help them commercialize it and, take it to the next stage. So in case there are any other questions, happy to take those. So there's a question, Mr. Parimal, on the chat box, Vivek saying, do you want to unmute Vivek and ask in case you want to do it?
Okay, hi, ma'am.
Hello. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, sir, my question is, how do you see use of petrols as a source of energy for drones? We already have been thinking about this idea, but we haven't worked on it yet. So I want your opinions on it.
So I think when India and world is talking about decarbonization, then it is not good to develop our future technology based on the fossil fuels like petrols, which actually impact our environment. So I am not personally in favor of that. What we should innovate is making drones run on solar energy, right? So how we can tap the solar energy, because if you see the drones application in agriculture, mines, and logistics, they are exposed to solar radiation. In most part of the world, we have the good solar radiation, at least in daytime, right? So there we can actually research there, to tap solar energy, or even the hydrogen, right? Hydrogen, though I'm not an energy expert, but whatever little bit I know, the hydrogen research is coming in big way. So now they are thinking and talking to run the aircraft and buses on hydrogen cells. So why can't we research this hydrogen application in drones? And some, as a startup, they can typically target their product based on hydrogen. They can say it's a green-driven drone. So the hydrogen will give a longer running time to the drones compared to what today battery technologies are providing. So so hydrogen, like they have the hydrogen cells. Instead of battery, you can use that hydrogen cell for generating energy. I don't know, because I said I'm not energy expert, though I have background of electrical engineering. But this is the very fast innovation happening in the hydrogen domain. Recently all countries are coming up with their big hydrogen adoption plan. So I think there are many startups who must be working on the hydrogen fuel area. I think innovation in hydrogen, as soon you can collaborate with them, how to bring hydrogen in fueling the drone technology.
Right, interesting. So thank you for sharing that perspective. Any other quick questions? Else we are, we've hit 5 o'clock in the, in the watch, and it's a Friday evening. So unless there are any other questions, I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Parimal for your insights, sir. And it was really amazing. I think so power-packed and energy, booster on a Friday evening.
It was really nice to be part of JSS STEP, and I mentioned these kind of accelerator programs and incubators are required for fueling growth of startups in India and UP particularly, because UP is one of the largest states. So we need to have more and more programs hosted by JSS STEP kind of accelerators. So I'm really thankful to you, and I really appreciate this initiative which you have started and you invited me today. And hopefully I able to add the value and a fresh perspective to your participants here. And thank you once again.
Right, thank you. And also I have shared the link for Facebook Live here with everyone. So anytime you want to refer back to the video or you want to share with others, please feel free to use it. So thank you, everyone. And thank you so much, Mr. Parimal. We will stay in touch.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.